So, welcome everybody again. And yesterday, we started with the right view from the Eightfold Path. And as I said yesterday, right view is a very broad subject. It has lots of things. And also, different stages of the practice. We talk about the different dhyanas and different stages of practice and different types of you can say different different type of objectives of the people of their dharma practice. That is also mainly to do with a view, I think. We usually talk about the three stages or three types of people, why we practice dharma. Those who want to practice dharma because they want a good life, better life for this life and for the life after. That's one. That is also okay, that's good. That's one reason to practice dharma. Then also we want to transform ourselves and find a way to liberate ourselves from the causes of suffering and samsaric state of mind, and then practice dharma for that. That is another kind of intention or goal, and you can practice dharma for that also. And then we have some people who want to practice dharma because they want not only to liberate themselves and find a way to find peace and kind of a liberation for themselves, but also want to work for the benefit of all the sentient beings and bring them also to that stage. And that also, you can practice dharma for that. And whichever, type of person you are, or for whatever, goal you want to practice dharma, everybody has to do the Eightfold Path. Eightfold Path is common. There are slight differences, maybe in the view and things like that. So this is something I just wanted to mention. Maybe there's a little bit differences in meditation and things like that. Now we come to the second what we call the of the Eightfold Path, second path, you can say, or second right path. That's the it's translated different ways, it seems, in the English. Before we always used to use the word right thought, but recently, today I looked and there are right resolve and right intention and things like that also mentioned. So I don't know which one to use, but actually this is, the next three are mainly about about our actions, activities, actions of the mind, actions of the speech, and the action of our body. These are the three things, right, whatever you call it, right resolve and right thought or right intention, right thought, right speech, and right conduct. These are actually about how we, how we act with our mind, speech, and body. It's about that. So for the time being, I think I would use the old translation that I have learned when I was very small, right thought. And but it is not just thought. It's about how our mind works. I think it includes intention. It includes emotions, and it includes also, thoughts and how we react to things and how we think and things like that. Basically, how our mind works, and that's the mind is regarded very important in Buddhism because all our actions begin with our mind. If our mind doesn't act or react or think that way, then the speech and body doesn't do anything. So if we do something with our body or speech in a positive way or negative way, it comes first with our mind wanting to do that or wishing to do that, or with certain kind of emotions or reactions coming from our mind. So that's why, mind becomes extremely important. And that action of the mind also is very much based on our view, as we discussed yesterday. If we see in a certain way, then our thoughts, emotions, and all kind of reactions would be influenced by that way of seeing. And so therefore our thought and our intentions and our way of reacting is very much kind of influenced and based on our view. So therefore view becomes very important. That's the basic thing. That's why we talk about view first. Then thought, because that thoughts, whether it's whatever positive, negative, or neutral thoughts we have, which includes our emotions and reactions, that is again the most important thing, because that will influence how we act with our with our body and with our speech. Now this, so therefore, if we need to transform ourselves, we need to kind of develop our positive qualities or positive side, then we need to understand this and then watch or be aware of what our mind is doing, you know, how we are thinking, how we are reacting, and how, you know, our emotions are, you know, how we are. WeChat audio. How our, you know, how we are, you know, dealing with our emotions and things like that. And that becomes a major practice in, you know, the most important practice, therefore, in Buddhism is working on our mind. And so therefore, to see, you know, the main practice in Buddhism is actually to a little bit become aware how we are, you know, how we are reacting with our mind, you know. Am I angry? Am I feeling kind of aggressive? Am I jealous? Am I feeling kind of more peaceful, kind, joyful, you know, more relaxed, more tense? You know, what is going on in my mind? I think that's the most important thing. Now here, I think it is very important. This, I think, is the most important thing in Dharma practice. Most of us think that how we react and how we feel and how we, you know, we experience things and our emotions are working. We think that it's because of the situation. If somebody is doing something or saying something that's not nice, then there's no choice for me but become angry and upset and sad and if the, you know, if I am in a situation where there are lots of you know, lots of things happening, lots of noise, for instance, then I need to be stressed. I need to be disturbed. I need to feel bad. So this is how we think. And then we always try to change this. We try to get rid of these the circumstances, the situations, you know, the people, how they act. We have to change that and things like that. That's usually everybody is almost all the time only focused on that. I'm not saying that that is not good. We should do that probably, But that would not solve a real issue, I think, because if I'm in a situation where somebody there who is not so nice, so I try to get rid of him, or I try to go away from him or her. I go into another place. There is no guarantee that I will not meet another person who is doing the same thing or similar thing or even worse. And many times we have like that. We cannot totally get rid of the situations where it's perfect. We cannot totally find perfect situations anywhere. To expect to find perfect situation, perfect environment, perfect people around us is almost impossible. So therefore, then unless that happens, then we will be disturbed, we'll be unhappy, we'll be stressed, we will be, kind of disturbed all the time. And then we become very disturbed. We can become, lots of tense and lots of, it's, the more we think like that, the more we expect that to happen, the more it's impossible, it's. So, that doesn't mean that we should not change the situation or make things better or try to make things better. That's very important. We can do it. We should do it. And sometimes it can change or at least become better. And that's important. It's not to say that we should not do that. But at the same time, we need to do something with our mind, that how to learn to react to things in a different way, that I do not get so much disturbed by these things. Even if there are lots of kind of people around me, can I find a way that I'm not totally disturbed? Can I find a way that I'm not hurt every time somebody says or does something that is not so nice? Can I find a way that even if I am in a situation which is not totally great, I can find some kind of peace or a little bit, okay. So this is kind of really, really important dharma practice. So, we try to, if we work on that, then we are practicing. We are, what Buddha said, taming the mind. He said this, the whole Dharma into 3 sentences. Do not commit unwholesome actions. Try to develop wholesome actions as much as possible, and then tame your mind. So this is about taming your mind, because if you can tame your mind, if you can find a way to work with your mind in a certain way, that you find peace, you find kindness, you find, a way not to feel bad or, negative, even in the situations where it is difficult, then, you have tamed your mind, because your mind has learned how to face things in such a way that things doesn't become difficult for myself, and things doesn't I would not act and react in a very negative way. Negative means that would cause suffering and pain and problem for myself, and that would cause suffering and pain and problem for others. So if I can find that, if I can do something about that, then I have transformed my mind. I have, that's the, that how much I can do that is actually that is how, that is to judge how much practice I have done, how well or how advanced I have become in my practice is about that. It's not about having some power of, like if I can create miracles or things like that. That's not the case. It's how I can find, how I can work with my own mind in such a way that even with difficulties and problems and negative situations, I can be still okay. And if you are a very good practitioner, then not only okay, but you can be very happy even in those situations. So therefore, what are the negative thoughts? In Tibetan, Dopa, there, that word does not mean only thinking thoughts that, in English, I think, I don't know whether it's the same with other European languages. In English, when you say thought, and then when you say emotion, it seems to be different. It's a kind of a different. Thought is just a kind of, or it's like that, or it's like, I see somebody, or I like ice cream or something like that. That's a thought. And then if I feel bad, I feel, angry, or I feel hurt, or I feel sad, that's not considered more or less like a thought, but it's considered more emotion. So here, when we talk about the Topa, then we are talking for both of them, about both of them, because when I have a feeling of sadness or hurt or fear or or happiness or joy or kindness or compassion, these are all what we call Dopas. It's because it's arisings. Sometimes we use the word arisings because it's something that comes out of your mind. It arises in our mind. So thoughts, emotions, reactions, all three of them, So now, mainly, this is like this is like that. That's not what we're talking about too much, What we are talking about mainly in this Topa is, like, aggression, too much kind of craving, and sometimes we call it attachment, greed, or things like that. Reaction of jealousy, feeling bad when somebody has something good, but I don't have. Then I feel very painful that this person has it, and or I feel like anger, hatred, kind of all of those kind of things. Then also feeling I think all this kind of sadness and different degrees of sadness. I think depression is one of them, and things like that. So these are, of course, first we start with thought. This is very bad. This is not good. This is not right. And then, if we think about that again and again, it's not good. It's really bad. It's really bad. Then it becomes more and more strong, and then it becomes very difficult to control after some time. So therefore, when a thought arises, when a kind of reaction arises, at that time, to try to say that this reaction is my reaction. This is something which is, I think, important. So if I feel fear, if I feel sad, if I feel unhappy, or anything, it's my feeling, and we think that if I have something that I don't have, will make me feel completely good. Yes, it does for a while, but not too long. Usually, when you get something that you wanted, you feel good, you feel happy, you feel kind of satisfied and nice. But it doesn't last long, maybe you know this. There was I think I read about this, and I think it's really true. It happens with me too. People said that they researched on people who won big lottery tickets. Sometimes people win like many millions of euros or dollars, and pounds in the lottery. So some people research that, and how is their life after 6 months of winning this lottery? I think first few days and few months, they're extremely happy. But after 6-7 months, they found that they are not, they have come to the same space, more or less, in their mind, in their in their happiness or satisfaction, whatever, as before they won the lottery. It didn't make them very happy even for that long, just about 6 months. That's not a very long time, so this is kind of a really, experience of people who have won big lotteries. So what we usually is that, you know, we try to, we think that this is going to make me happy, and then I go after it and I find it or I get it, and without too long time, you know, I'm like same as before. It's not that this is bad, I don't like it anymore, not like that, but you know, my situation or my, you know, the level of my happiness, level of my, you know, is not so much changed. I'm the same as before. So therefore, this is what we need to change, you know. It doesn't mean to say that we should not get things that we want. Yes, we should get things that we want. Why not? It is good to have things that we want. And it's good not to have things that we don't want. But we should, you know, we should find a way to change our way of reacting in such a way that if we get what we want, we are very happy, and we maintain that happiness. Because, you know, if we get something that we want, usually what happens is that, you know, I have got this thing, it's very nice, but then, you know, how to hold on to that. Maybe it will not remain with me. Maybe I lose it. Maybe something will happen, you know, or somebody might take it away from me, and fear, you know, and all kind of things. Or this is not enough, I need something more. All kind of things happens, and thus, therefore, you know, I cannot maintain that level of joy and happiness and kind, you know, peace and things like that. So therefore, you know, this is something that we need to understand, you know. Of course, there are always people who are not so nice, and there are always things happening that's not, you know, not right, not good, not proper. But, you know, and it's not that we should do our best to make things right and make things better and things like that. But because something is not right, and because something is wrong, and because something is not, you know, as it should be, should I become upset and unhappy and, you know, totally kind of, you know, sad all the time? You know, that would not be good. That would not help. So I need to maintain certain kind of, you know, way to feel okay, even if things are not right, you know. And how to do that? That's the practice, you know. I think that's more to do with maybe meditation and things like that. But, you know, that's what the practice is about, you know. Like yesterday, we had somebody asking, you know, I'm feeling very fearful and what to do with that, and, you know, all kind of things. And then there are some people, actually was somebody wrote to me saying that, you know, this person might have had lots of problems in his life, maybe abused and, you know, kind of things. And you should have been more kind to him. You should have been very, you know, compassionate. You should not have said those things that I said. I don't know what I said actually, but I understand. Yeah, it's true that, you know, maybe that's, you know, some people go through lots of problems in their childhood or afterwards or whenever, and then they are very, you know, they have lots of problems dealing with anything. That's true. There are lots of people. Yes, I can say that. Oh yes, you have been, you know, having a very bad time. All those people who have had problems, they should be really, they're really bad, they should be punished, they should be, uh, I could have said that, or I can say that, that's not a problem. But that wouldn't help them, because what we really want to do is to help them to get out of that mental state. Sometimes being nice and saying, oh yes, you are right, you are really, had a very bad time, it's really bad, all these people who have not been nice to you, they should really be, kind of banished or punished, or something like that. Maybe give a little bit of nice feeling for some time, but unless you learn how to free yourself from that, it doesn't really totally help. And sometimes if saying that kind of thing, I feel myself, it's not helping, but actually harming. Because then you kind of, you get used to this I am a kind of, what can you say? I am, how you say it? I'm the one who has received lots of bad things. Victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I am a victim. And then you can never recover, because you make this victim identification so strong, and everybody need to reinforce that, and then you feel a little bit better. But that doesn't really help. Yes, you have been a victim, maybe. Maybe you have been, most probably you have been a victim, and that's not good. But whether you have been a victim or not, you need to get out of that. I cannot remain a victim all the time, because then I can suffer all the time. So even if I'm victimized, I have to learn how to pull myself out of that victim state of my mind. There is this stanza in Dhammapada. In Tibetan, it says, Dharma dishu ditu pambarsi de daki nontru chirtoshi kundun zimbin trilon nasete kundun nampon dewa nichilo. He says that these people have been talking badly about me, or have been, saying bad things to me. These people have done, negative things or bad things towards me. These people have defeated me. These people have robbed me of my possessions and things. So if I feel like traumatized by that, and feel that, hold on to that traumatic, that negative feeling and traumatized feeling, then I become totally traumatized. So I need to learn to let go of those feelings, and then I can sleep well, comfortably. When somebody says something or does something not nice, we feel that's not right. How can these people say like that? How can these people do like this? It's totally, it's totally not right. But, yeah, the people, people are not perfect. There are lots of, they themselves maybe have faced this kind of negative reactions and have, brought up in this kind of negative situations, or so they learned how to do that, and they didn't learn how to do anything else. No, they will do that. They will say negative things. They will do negative things. They are samsaric people, not perfect people. So if they do that, that's not because that I am so, they hate me so much. I am so, this do it only to me. It's not like that. They do to many people. They are like that. And they of course get the consequences of that, because if you say bad things and if you do negative things, they suffer. They have their consequences. So these people who do that and say that, if I see that they are actually unfortunate people, they have difficult life, they will keep on having problems, suffering. So therefore, I should not become like that. I should not become like that. So I should not do the same thing. I should not react in the same way. I should do and react in a different way. If I can think like that, and then I can kind of a little bit not, if somebody is angry with me, not angry, but it's okay. I don't need to be angry, because if I'm angry, then I suffer. Because if I'm angry, I'm disturbed. I'm suffering. I don't want to let myself suffer because of these people. And so I let that go. If I can let go means I don't hold on to that. I don't think about that alone. I don't focus on that alone. Like in the meditation, what you do is learning that, that usually, what do you mean by, react, breathing in, breathing out, and then I'm focusing on that, it sounds like silly, you just breathing in and breathing out, and you're just focusing on that. But it's a practice, it's a training, that you are focusing on something that's totally neutral, not what people said or did, or your past, or all kind of problems and tensions and things like that you have, but only on your breathing. And when you do that, we can all feel that I can be much more relaxed, I can be much more free, I can be much more peaceful when I do that. Because even for a short time, if I'm not thinking about that, and I'm not holding on to that, and I'm not, kind of focused on that, I feel free, I feel peaceful, I feel more okay. So if I can make myself little okay, like for a few seconds or few minutes, because I don't focus on that, if I can really do it completely, how much more peace and joyful and I can become. So it's not to say that these people are good, or there's nothing wrong with those negative doing things. That's not the case, It's, of course, it's not good. It's not. But the important thing is, I have to make myself better. feel better. I don't want to be so, suffered, traumatized by these things. So therefore, I need to work on my mind, and I can do that. That's the whole point. How the less I focus on this, the more I let go. The more I can let go, the more I'm free from there. And therefore, the more I focus on the positive and positive emotions and thoughts and reactions, the more I become like that, and the more I become happier, joyful, positive, and so therefore that's the training in the mind. So therefore, this is the right thought, is to try to maintain, try to train myself in such a way that when a negative thought, negative reaction, negative emotion I see is overtracking me, I say, this is no good, this is no use, this is only creating problem and suffering for myself and also for others, because if I become like that, I will react in that way, and then it will be very bad for everybody else, the people around me, people with whom or to whom I react, and whatever my negative emotions can create negative actions, verbal and physical, and that can create much more problems. And so therefore it's very important that I let it go and stop here and transform. And if I can work on that, that is one of the the best practices. That's why actually in Buddhist practices, it's not so much emphasized going to the churches or going to the monasteries and going to the temples and things like that. It's working on ourselves, on our mind. Yeah. That's why this story, I think I told this story many times. So when Adish Dipankara, the great Indian master, came to Tibet, he had a very enthusiastic student. I think you all know the story, that he said, he was really, so he was, I think, what was it? He was doing circumambulation of the monastery, from the dawn to the dusk, every day. And after some time, the master came down and said, it's so good, it's so nice that you are doing this circumambulation, but isn't it better that you did some dharma practice? Then he thought, that what is dharma practice? It is not circumambulation, so it must be reading scriptures. So he went inside the temple and he started to read all the scriptures, there again from early morning then to the dusk, and again one day the master came down. Oh, it's so nice that you are doing so much recitation, reading of the scriptures. That's really wonderful, but isn't it better that you should do some real dharma practice? Again he got confused. What is then dharma practice? This is not dharma practice. I should meditate. So he was sitting in meditation, from early down to dusk and thing. And again, he came down and said, it's really great that you are doing so much meditation. It's really wonderful. Isn't it better to do some dharma practice? Then he got really what is dharma practice? The dharma practice is to transform your mind, So all those things is very good. It's, if that helps to transform, that's very good. But actually, whether you do circumambulation, whether you do meditation, whether you do scriptures, or you do none of them, but still work on your, your thoughts and emotions, and then that's practice. Yeah? So this is, the right thought. Right thought is, to first recognize what are the, emotions and reactions and thoughts which are harmful to yourself and harmful to others. Then, when these negative and harmful thoughts and reactions and emotions are arising in you, then we say, it's not good, let it go. Let us not focus too much on that. Let us not, cultivate too much on that. Let us not, focus on that, too much, because it's not nice. It's not good for me. It's not good for anybody. It doesn't really help anybody. So instead, we allow that to go, and then cultivate some kind of another understanding. If we can see in a slightly different way, I think we can change that way of feeling. Most of the time, when people do things or say things, and you're in the situations, people are doing those things not just because they want to harm you, basically, but they are in that situation and they want to become happier and they want to have something good. And then in order to do that, then they hurt you, or they say things, or they do things which happen to harm you, hurt you, and things like that. And even if they are doing it intentionally to hurt you, why do I get angry when somebody tries to harm me? Because I don't want to hurt. I want to become hurt. So if I become too angry and upset and hurt, that is hurting myself. So I should not help that person to hurt myself. I should do the opposite. So just to spite that person, who says bad things, or, I refuse to get hurt, That's the best reply, that's the best revenge, is that if somebody wants to hurt you and they are not succeeding in hurting you, that's the best way of, responding. So thinking like that, at least, even if you cannot do with kindness and compassion. So that way, because the main thing is, if you can change your way of, it is very good for ourselves, even temporarily, even temporarily. And then in the long run, much more, because then if you get used to that, then you become, unhurtable, you learn how to face anything. So therefore, less fear. So this is, kind of, I think it's in that way, in this kind of, I don't know if I could explain everything very clearly or not, but right thought is more on that line, in that kind of way, and that becomes the real practice, and once we understand that and we try to work on that, then everything becomes, path. That's the path. Path means, a way to be, how to train ourselves, how to transform ourselves. That's the, very important kind of thing. And this, I think it has nothing, actually it doesn't, you don't need to be Buddhist to do that. You don't need to be, anything, anybody can do it, and anybody can do it with, good result, because, for that, you don't need, you don't need to believe in anything, actually. You don't need to, unless I believe in Buddha, and unless I say I'm Buddhist, I can't have, right thought. It's not like that. I can have right thought, whoever, and if you have that right thought, or if you try to promote that right thought, then it's good for you and good for everybody. So I think it's it's something that is really, if it is understood, it could become very useful, Yeah. So that's, I think I will stop here. And if anybody has any questions, most welcome. That doesn't mean that I have all the answers, I always ask, invite questions. I like questions. Mainly because, I think I have an opinion about almost anything, That doesn't mean that that's the right answer, or there's no better ones. That doesn't mean anything. But, if people ask questions, then I know what's going on, or what, if I am reaching them or not, or, if people don't ask any questions, then I don't know where it went, what I said was totally misunderstood, or didn't hear, or, so that's why I like questions. And the sillier the question, the better I like it. Because, it's actually true. The most silly questions cannot be asked by most people. Because they feel, they feel not so good about asking silly questions. But those are the real questions, the most important questions most of the time. Okay, I think
we have a question.
Is it Bernard?
It's Kamanobu right now with you.
Oh, Kamanobu, yes, Kamanobu. Hello.
Hello, Rinpoche. Thank you for your teachings tonight. I don't actually have a question, but when you were talking, it reminded me of a story, and it might be one of yours, actually.
Okay.
I tell it anyway, so I apologize if if it's one of yours. And
doesn't matter. My stories are not mine. I just read here and there, and hear from here and there, and so it's none of my stories are mine that I invented.
Yeah. If there was I can't remember who it was now. I think it was quite a contemporary master, and he was on a train once in India, and a man came up to him and started to insult him and shouted at him and acted really badly towards him. And he just sat there for a while. And then when he got a little bit of space, he said to this man, "What happens when somebody gives you a gift and you refuse it? Who does the gift stay with?" And the man said, "Well, it stays with the person who was going to give it." And he said, "Okay, in that case, I don't accept your anger. I don't accept your gift."
Yes. I told this story, but it's I heard it from others, of course. This is told by many people in slightly different ways. They also attribute it to Buddha sometimes, but sometimes they do it to this what is his name? A very great Indian master, quite contemporary. He was in early 90s, 19th, last century. What's his name now? he went to the world, not Yogananda, other one, very famous.
Krishnamurti?
No,
Oh,
not Krishnamurti. What?
Maybe Sai Baba.
Oh, no. Khair sent me. Chat, but I can't access that chat. I cannot access the chat. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You will find it. Vivekananda. Yeah, Swami Vivekananda.
Yeah.
Swami Vivekananda.
Mm-hmm.
Swami Vivekananda, yes. He was very great master, and but he died very young. He died only when he was around 40, I think.
Is he the one that wrote Autobiography of a Yogi? Is that the same?
No, that's another one.
Oh, okay.
That's Yogananda.
That's Yogananda.
Yes. So next.
yeah.
Who? Yes.
Hi. Hello, Rinpoche. Hello. Thank you very much. It was really, I had the feeling you're talking to me directly, personally. My question, or I hope it's very silly. I can, if I do some meditation or reflection on impermanence or the preliminaries, I'm able just to let go for this aggression which is pointing to me, and I'm happy, very good. But then at 4 o'clock in the night, I wake up and something is turning around, and I really don't know why. I thought, oh, I did it very well, I managed it, I let go, but something seems to stick in the night in my head. Is it just I didn't do enough practice, or I didn't understand right, or how can I avoid this, that it has this like an independent insect in my head?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it's easy to say, but not that easy to do, So, but we need to reason with ourselves again and again. And, that's what we call practice, I think, say, yes, that what I did was right. It's good. It's the best way, Of course, when people keep on pestering you and then you will feel bad. But, this is the best way of solving. Of course, that doesn't mean that you should not try to solve that with those people and the situation and things like that. But I should not feel, I should not hold on to that. And so and 4 o'clock is a very good time for doing that. It is always said that the best time for your practice is that time.
Okay.
Yes. And also, that is also supposed to be a very time when lots of good ideas come to your mind also, very innovative ideas and things like that come to you. And so therefore it's a very good, good time. So, yeah, so that's, maybe it's like, now is the time to do that.
Okay. Okay. But probably just you said, I mean, we have to work with our mind. You said the mind, but I sometimes think there are more than one mind which is running at the same time. That we have several parallel or so. So I will encounter it at 4 o'clock next time.
Yes, and of course there are all different kind of things happening. You know, it's not one thing happening, many things happening. So, you know, but I think, you know, we can also solve all problems just with one practice or one, but, you know, slightly better, you know, a little bit, you know, better. I think that's the whole point. Yeah. Maybe with that, if you have that understanding and do a little bit like that, maybe you don't make it worse, you know, in yourself or in others. And that's much better than, you know, making it worse.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard.
Hello,
Hello.
good evening.
Good evening.
Rinpoche.
How are you?
I have no question because I was so happy to listen to you,
Okay.
but I have a little thing to add.
Okay.
What about coming along with being hurt?
Uh-huh.
I made the experience that not to shoot back
Yeah.
is like leaving the box ring.
Uh-huh.
And this instead of shooting back, you say to the other person, "Excuse me, but I feel a little bit hurt. I have to lick my wounds for a while."
Uh-huh.
And that is like a little death, I think, because the first reaction is to shoot back.
Uh-huh.
And the second reaction is, let us wait a little and talk about that a little bit later. That lowers the aggression also.
Uh-huh.
I made the experience that helped me, but it doesn't work anytime. Sometimes I fall back very.
I think that's good because, you know, you are, you know,
And if it,
you are trying
and I
to,
think if the opponent doesn't work together with me, anyway, it's a little help for me.
yes. Yes,
That's it, what I want to add.
exactly. Thank
I
you.
hope it's right. It's okay.
Yes, I think that's good. That's wonderful because, you know, you give also time to yourself. And usually our emotions are very strong, you know, our emotions are very strong. When it is aroused, you can, you know, you can do great damage, you know, like if you allow your emotions to go, you know, wild, you can kill somebody, you can shoot somebody, and you can commit yourself, you can hurt yourself, you know. The emotions are that bad or that strong. But there's one good side of it, is that all these emotions are very, very impermanent, you know. If you feel very hurt or very bad or very angry or very upset, if you allow some time, then it changes, you know, and it goes away also. So if you say like, you know, I give time to myself to to work on it, it means that you are actually allowing yourself to let go of this, and then it can go, you know, it can change. Also, the other person who is doing or saying something wrong can also, you know, feel change, you know, that I should not have said that. I don't, you know, maybe he or she didn't want to actually hurt you, but in the moment of that emotion, he or she did it. So things can resolve more easily if you give time. That's very good.
Is it the way to regard the opponent as teacher?
Yes, that's another way. That's another way, yes. And also they say that, your best teacher is the one who kind of does you the worst thing.
I hope not.
Because yes, it makes you practice, makes you practice. Then what can there be a better teacher than somebody who forces you to practice?
And what I want to say at last, that this problem is not settled on the cushion. It has settled in the life.
Uh-huh.
To prepare oneself on the cushion, on the meditation cushion, what we are doing tonight, for instance, listening to you, that's one side. The other side is the real practice when you are in contact with your fellow human beings.
Yes. What I was saying was all about not on the cushion, but outside the cushion. But doesn't matter wherever, it's about the life, I think, in the life, mainly in the life.
Yes, I don't want to criticize you. I want to say that if I understand, if I understand something, I listen. I have to prove it in my life.
Yeah, true. No, you are not criticizing anything. It's very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anybody there's somebody now? What's her name? Hello.
It's Claudia.
Oh, Claudia, yes.
Oh, it's like what, it's a little bit like what Bernhard said.
Okay.
Like if somebody is mean to me and I can shoot back, and if I don't shoot back, I sometimes feel like a loser. So what do I do with the feeling that I'm a loser now? If somebody is like attacking you and I wouldn't attack back, what with wisdom, I know it's maybe the best to do nothing. But there's also one kind of my ego who tells me, oh, now this person thinks he can treat me like that, and he thinks I'm a loser, blah, blah, blah. So what I do with this ego feeling of myself?
Well, I mean, from the Dharma point of view, the best is not to not to just counteract in that way, but do it in another way. You can. There are different ways of reacting, or different ways of, what can you say? If somebody says something bad and you just say it back to them, or if somebody does something negative and you do the same negative thing, then you are nothing different from that person. Yeah? You are same small person who is kind of, like little children, something they throw, you throw back, somebody say you are a monkey, you say, you are a monkey too. You are ugly. Yeah, you are also ugly. That is not like mature people. Mature people is we need to try to solve the problems. Not to kind of throw each other bad things. So we have to find another way. To transform somebody. If somebody is not nice to me and being aggressive, if I can make that person feel bad and become more, more kind and more nice, then I have won. Yeah. You try to see it like that. You are much more deeper and much more cleverer than that person. So you don't do this bickering thing. You do it in a more deeper and intelligent way.
Yeah, I guess I have to work on my ego. I think it's not my. I think from my heart, I know what you mean. But from my ego, my ego is sometimes who says, "Oh, now the other person thinks she or he won," but he's not right. I am right. And but
Yes, right. But ego is not very helpful most of the time. Sometimes little ignoring the ego is not so bad, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Rinpoche, we have another person. This is Dusan Miletić. He doesn't have camera, so he will just ask the question without camera.
Okay, can you?
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, Rinpoche. Thank you for your teaching. My question is, you said that when we are under influence of negative emotions, that we should practice going back to our breath. Now, my question is, how then we know that we are not just ignoring or suppressing those emotions if we are just trying to follow our breath? Thank you.
We are ignoring. We are ignoring and we are suppressing that emotions. We are allowing them to go, I think we should do that because, a negative emotion comes. If you hold on to that and, not let go, then it will grow and it become more solid, no? But if you allow it to go, that means that it will go, yeah? So you want to hold on to that or you want to let it go?
Yes, I understand, but but I'm asking the question because I understand that it's not ignoring per se, but I'm thinking that if you are just trying to fight with that, going back to your breath and just trying to make it disappear, trying to like it's not there, like how do you know that you're actually acknowledging that the emotion is there and not being like, oh, it's not there, I'm just breathing, it's okay? You understand?
Yeah, you don't need to acknowledge too much. You felt it, and so when you feel it, then you acknowledge it. No, you don't have to say that. Oh, this is my emotions. Thank you very much. You don't have to say that. When you feel the emotion, you acknowledge it. That's the ignore. There's nothing more than that. You don't have to make the emotions so important. I think sometimes in the West, some psychologists, I think, make you think that emotion is very like sacred, like this is my emotion, I cannot do anything with it. It should be like, I cannot even touch it. It's not like that. Emotion is just momentary reactions, yeah? So you can let it go. It will go, you should, I see it like that. You know, most of the emotions that comes like that, the emotions is like nettle. You know nettle?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, nettle is a plant which makes a very good you know, soup if you boil it. You know, the Milarepa used to eat it a lot, but it is very stinging. You know, if you touch it, it will sting you. Yeah, it's very painful. Yeah. So if you touch it lightly, it's very painful. But if you grab it like this, it will do nothing. And then you can boil it and it becomes a nice soup. Yeah. Emotions also a little bit like that. So, you know, if you, oh, this is my, you know, my hurt feeling. This is my anger. This is my, oh, it's, I have to acknowledge, I don't have to do anything. I have to keep it. Then it will ride on you. It will be all over you and it will control you. But I would say, this is emotion. Yeah, but so what, you know? You know, sometimes we do this with mosquitoes, you know. So, you know, I think we need to let go of these negative emotions. Anyway, all emotions go, all thoughts go. There's nothing is sticking all the time. Of course, it will come back again. You know, there's, you know, our mind is full of negative emotions and full of, you know, all kind of things. It will come back. But we don't have to make it too like, you know, too delicately. I think it's not necessary. You can just let it go and it's okay. And then the more we learn how to let it go, then if we really learn how to let it go, then we can learn how to let it go in a more deeper way. And then, you know, it doesn't become so, what can you say, too important or too kind of, you know, too overwhelming. Yeah. So if we keep it too much like, oh, this is emotional, then, you know, we make it very important. And so if we make it too important, then it kind of, it dominates us more.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay. Where is he there?
It's Marie.
Okay.
Hello, Rinpoche.
Hello.
I would like to ask a question which I have had for a long time.
Okay.
When I hear your teachings yesterday or today, I have no doubt about the efficiency and how to trust them, because this is something which I can experience.
Yeah.
Then I relate to some teachings that you gave, I think a few weeks ago in Germany.
Yeah.
About empowerment and about Kerim and special state.
Yes, I'm kidding.
And then this is something which is so strange and so understandable for me that I find it even difficult to think that it is the same dharma which is expressed in both ways, because I can't imagine how reciting millions of mantras is going to help me transform my mind. So is it possible to use one part of it and give up the other one?
You listen to this teaching is more important, I think.
Well, that's what you say, but then why do you give the other ones?
I was asked because and that one is very important. Actually, if you understand it, it's also very important practice, but it's a very specific and very something very, you know, another thing. It's a if you have to really understand it very deeply.
But is there a way to understand it?
Yes, but then you have to go through certain teachings and things like that, and maybe it's not that suitable anyway. It's a quite a difficult. I think let's forget about that for a while.
Well, that's what I've been trying to do for many years, but it comes all the time. All these Vajrayana teachings come back and they bother me because I'm so totally out of it. Okay,
Yes.
I agree that it is more important to stick to what we spoke today.
Yes. These things is more, and those are very specific, and it's not that they are there are also ways to work on. It's important ways to work on ourselves in a deeper way. Like working on our traumas in a very deep way. Things like that, but it's a little bit complicated. It's a really complicated. So.
Okay, too bad then.
It was so complicated that I had difficulties to, to try to present it in such a way that it's even a little bit makes sense.
Oh, I didn't dare to say that. But probably this is why I could not understand it.
Yeah.
Thank you anyway.
It's very understandable that you don't understand.
Okay, thank you.
That's why nobody teaches those texts, and that's why
But you do a lot. You do a lot. You have done 3 or 4 times in the last.
Yes, because Anne said that nobody is teaching it, so please explain it. Maybe some people understand it. I don't know. Okay.
Okay, thank you anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Rinpoche.
Yes.
Thanks,
Dele. How are you?
Mostly happy.
Okay.
I have one question.
Okay.
Kind of, I would really like to learn how to work with pride.
How to what?
How to work with pride, with Marjal.
Yeah.
Because kind of, I can't even recognize it. But I recognize when it's not there. And when it's not there, I feel very, very simple and kind of very happy when it's not there. So I would like to learn to recognize pride, and I would really like to let it go. I mean, kind of in whichever way. Just tell me, please.
Well, the pride has many different levels, no?
Yes.
Everything else. Yeah, the most subtle one is that I am. If you think I am, that's also a practice, pride. No, I am, and others are. Then, but these are, these are a little bit complicated. If you don't understand, then it's okay. Let it be. You don't have to find pride when that's not much there.
Maybe.
Yes, it's okay.
Because sometimes, I have this crazy self-confidence in myself my whole life, long time.
That's good.
Oh, no. No. It's much
very good.
It's much better not to have it. It's much more simple, much more simple, and then things go on themselves.
No, that's very good. It's not good. I can't do anything. I am very bad. That's not good.
I'm not very bad, like I'm good.
So that's good. You appreciate yourself. That's nothing. I think the bad thing is that if you say that, everybody is bad, then it's not nobody is as good as me, or even comparable to that, then it's bad. But you know, I'm okay. That's okay, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really feel like that most of the time.
That's very good. I think
No.
that's nothing wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. You look very, very good.
Okay.
Nordic walking makes miracles.
Yeah, actually it helps. It really helps. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you very much. And good night. Guten Appetit. Not guten Appetit. Guten Nacht. Am I getting hungry again? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
Boa
much.
noite. Thank you,
Good night,
Rinpoche.
Rinpoche.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Boa
Thank
noite.
everyone.
Thank you,
Boa
Rinpoche.
noite.
Thank you,
Obrigada, Rinpoche.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rinpoche.
Rinpoche.
Thank
Thank
you.
Sangha. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Muchas gracias,
Bye.
Rinpoche. Muchas
Thank you.
gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grazie, Silvia.
Gracias, gracias.
Obrigado.
Obrigado, obrigado.
Danke, danke.
Gracias, gracias.
Guten Appetit.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.